Perfect. It
I got
just
the.
literally, and look who we have, Leroy. It is Victor. I was waiting
Let's
where the Victors would
go.
come out,
Let's
but
go.
that's right, Victor. Most likely going to be that prison Victor innovated in the Chinese meta. And let's see who his opponent's going to be. It's a Ornn. That is a spicy matchup for our round 5 of today's Regional Open event. This should be exciting. If there's one thing that Ornn likes to do is have a whole lot of deflect costs for the removal spells from Victor. So this could get a little out of hand. This should be very interesting. It looks like Ravenbloom Conservatory will be battlefield for Victor. And to be honest, Leroy, I don't know too much about Ornn. How familiar are you with that matchup?
I've seen it a couple of times. Uh, it's mostly prep some gears, play on and not let it die. And then usually you can play with green Azir so that on is always on the right battlefield.
Yeah,
That's an
and is
option.
that a sigil? Sigil of the Storm from Ornn?
That's the sigil of the storm. I mean, you're not conquering early. You're just doing some other stuff on the side, so you don't mind, I guess. Let's see. Let's see, because there have been several ways to play it. Always the same idea of blue on full gear, but yeah,
Looks like the
Let-
Ornn gonna be rolling a 2, so not too lucky in that department. And kind of a
yeah,
weird, suspicious roll, if you ask me. I don't like that kind of roll where he just waved it over, but we'll be rolling an 8 and has the Victor in a bit of a protective case. Looks like he is a Victor main, keeping that Victor legend nice and safe from any kind of outside forces. Let's see what these mulligans have. It is a Zen Shao. Interesting, but it is a prison Victor, Leroy. I'm seeing already the infamous 1-2 combo, Imperial Decree into the Bellows Breath. One of the best ways to remove a big board. It is at just a single
yeah.
location, but you can repeat Bellows Breath to knock out at least 2 locations. So looking to keep one, or actually he sends the Bellows Breath to the bottom of the deck and going to be getting a Wages of Pain
Okay.
as his replacement.
It's funny because you would think if you move out the Battle of Brest, you could also move out the Imperial Decree, but no.
Yeah, I agree. I feel
Taking
like
one
if you're
and
going
move
to
the other.
keep one, might as well keep the other one. But I think he was just trying to look for something. I mean, to be fair, I haven't played Victor myself next set because you always have guaranteed units to be played because you're Victor Legend. But it is time, more than 50% done with today's Swiss round. Round number 5 will be Victor versus Ornn. We haven't seen any of these legends today. I am excited to see what these players will be bringing out with these legends. Victor will be on the play as we saw him roll the higher number and start things off as good as he can do. Going to be deploying out a classic recruit token as his turn 1 play. Now for the Ornn, I am a little bit unfamiliar in this matchup, but what I know is you want to build the biggest Ornn, and that's the blue Ornn, right? That gets I think he's deflect 4 already or 2.
Yeah. Um, the blue on is naturally at +2 deflect, at 2 deflects.
Yeah, I'm thinking when you have the sills, the equipment
The
that
Sel
doubles it.
Songer,
Yeah, the sill solver
yeah, you go
songer.
up to 4.
Mm-hmm.
So Svel Songer is the flute from a champion that's called Nunu. And Nunu is known to be traveling with Willamp, which is a Yeti.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see how he maneuvers it, but for so far, he's just gonna go ahead and play out a clockwork. Does get the sealed activation to get the nice draw 1, and seals is probably the best. Seals work best in an Ornn deck because you're able to play them out for absolutely free. You don't have to pay the power because of the Ornn legend ability, but Victor will be first to score as he does get the conservatory conqueror. Now, even though he's not going to be able to defend it, at the very minimum, he should be able to get the conservatory trigger to try to allow him to draw a single card.
Yeah.
But Ornn trigger does get applied. Gonna be playing out the Poro Pie, is it?
Pro snack.
Poro snack, that's what it is.
Pro snack. Yeah. Regulin on also. It it gives a +1 when you want, and you want to tap it and use it. Well, you just do it. So clearly made for this deck.
Yeah, and I was pulling up the Poro snack on the screen, but did he trigger the conservatory? Did he look at the top deck? I hope he did.
Not
Either
sure.
way, the Stupefy gonna be making things even 1-1, taking a draw. Does end up drawing into the recruit, or ends up drawing into a retreat. I don't get to see too many retreats too much on Viktor. This is interesting. Maybe something along the lines of protecting that chosen champion, perhaps even protecting a watcher down the line, so you're able to utilize that ability one more time. The blood money gonna be doing 2 damage or taking out a 2 might or less unit, and I believe if you do so, you are gonna be receiving a gold token on top of that. So that clockwork goes down, allowing Viktor to most likely hold his next turn, and you do get a gold token on your base to use later down the road. Things are looking decently good for Viktor. But if I know anything about Ornn, is they tend to start slow, but they are a late game deck. But the board drop, or the drop border, I believe he's called.
Yeah. This card is amazing on. It's basically 4/4 accelerate for free.
Yeah, and when you have 2 or more gears, like we're seeing the seal and the Poro Snacks, he does enters ready. So as you said, he's a 0 power 4/4 unit, able to take down that recruit token. So perfect use of it in the Ornn deck, and it coming in clutch in the situation, not letting Viktor get any more additional points than he needs to. And now it's his turn to hold, because Viktor doesn't tend to have too much of an accelerated presence. He used to with things like Sprite Mother, and I think that's about it. But we do see some Victors kind of run Sprite Call, since it is a spell for conservatory triggers. I'm wondering, I mean, even so, even if he's tapped out, that drop border is 4 might. The Sprite tokens are only 3, so you have to be a little bit careful. This is looking tricky. I feel like Ornn, despite being on the draw, despite being a little bit of a slower deck, he's feeling decent right now in this position against a more aggressive deck.
Wages of Pain is going to be used, and now he's got. Does he have Superfy, or is he going to go trade with the token? No, he will send the token.
Oh, when it's
During
not a spell, but that is definitely an equipment he wish he would draw the next turn. So
yeah,
sometimes the conservatory
that's what I was
working
saying.
against you.
The Zonger going back to the bottom of the deck is a tough one. He will just send another recruit. There's no unit deployed on the side of Ornn. So unless there's another uh, Tony Oak, I'm going to call him Tony Oak. He won't be able to conquer. He will use the Pro Snack uh,
Oh,
into
he had another
the
spell
Zonger.
songer. So let's see. Does he want to play anything? I mean, he's just going to be going ahead and playing
The
out.
little music animation is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit. What was the lore behind the cell songer?
Yeah, I mean, it's Nunu's flute, and so Nunu is I think is an iceborn. If I'm correct on that. So those are Freljordian. Freljord is in the north, with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of snow, and people would drink a lot and so on. So all the cliches. Nunu comes from a little tribe. His mother used to be a storyteller that gave him the flute, and now he's just traveling through Freljord with his yeti called Willamp, and with his flute is activating runes and ancient stuff that he finds. And there's a whole game called Nunu's Song, actually, if I'm correct, where you play as Nunu and you discover all Freljord, and it's a really good game.
Nice, and we're seeing a couple good cards getting played out for Viktor. Pickpocket, and on top of that, because you have 2 units available on your base, the Xin Zhao getting played out, and Inner's ready at that. So Xin Zhao going in and conquering up to 3 points plus that recruit, and he is tank if you want to push anything up, if you had anything, of course, but in this situation you don't. Just something to be careful of going forward. A lot of people forget that he does indeed have tank, but as he reads, I enter ready if I control 2 or more units in the base, which he did. So nice stuff coming out. Gonna go ahead and hide one of his cards in that conservatory. As we said into a lot of Viktor Zoo, it used to only be pretty straightforward. Hidden Blade was the only hidden card, but from this situation, it might just be a Wages of Pain or a Hidden Blade. I could see both of those cards being pretty good in this situation.
Yeah, and now we're seeing some interesting stuff because uh, Viktor is well established on the board, just killed Gear, and Ornn still is lagging behind.
He
Um,
is.
and Viktor will be at 5 points. So I know that Ornn is a powerhouse and it's hard to remove and so on, but still, right now, uh, this game is not going to be easy. That's for sure.
Yeah, not easy at all. Although he is able to establish that the blue orange champion, the deflect 2, as we said, and more importantly, he does have weapon master. But the biggest thing about him is he gets +1 might for every single friendly gear, and once you attach the cell songer onto him, that's +2 might for every friendly gear. So that Ornn is already sitting pretty at +6, 2 for each of those 3 gears. So Ornn gonna be swinging in on this very next turn already for 10 might. And if you know anything about Ornn, it kind of starts getting a little bit carried away. The more gear, when it starts to really get carried away, is when you equip 2 spell songers onto that Ornn, getting
Oh yeah,
+3.
that's disgusting.
Yeah, disgusting. You got deflect, I believe 6 +3 for each gear. And okay, coming in with the main board gear removal. He's like, wait a second, I'm an Ornn player. I've never seen salvage. Kill a gear and draw 1 is what salvage reads. So perfect card, saying I expected a lot of gears. I expected a lot of equipments coming into the Spiritforged meta. So I'm coming prepared, and that's why I'm finding myself in a 3-1 position going into round 5. It looks like he almost wants to reveal a hidden card. Is that just to perhaps generate a gold token? Because if it's a Wages of Pain, oh, it's just to get even more card advantage. You love to see it. It doesn't feel all that bad. All it was a recruit token +2 draw. That's a fine trade by me. And he looks like he does have a Watcher in the deck. I think most Victors these days are running Watcher, huh?
Yeah, I mean, some of them are full spell, and Watchers are like too expensive to play. I don't
Okay.
know, can happen, but yeah, Watcher would be welcome at least in this matchup because you're not targeting the Ornn, so that's a free -3 where you don't have to pay any deflect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, decides to retreat back to Zen Zhao. Zen Zhao, the only thing available to him is that Pickpocket. I believe Pickpocket also reads or also enters ready. Let me double check because Pickpocket is a little bit more of a niche card. I actually could bring it back on the screen here while we take a read. When you play me, you may kill a gear. Okay, so Viktor playing a whole lot of gear hate with energy cost no more than 1. So he's able to take down the seals. That's what he's utilized for. I'm just recalling now. He's able to take down seals. And in this matchup, it almost looks like he pre-cyborged for Ornn. And if you do, you are able to play a gear for that. So now, looking through, wait. Progress date and Ornn drawing 4 cards. Looking through the majority, or looking through quite a good amount. Conservatory allowing him to pick up that Bellows Breath. That feels good. You know, Leroy, how does it work if you have all this deflect? If you play Bellows Breath, you have to target it 3 times, right? Say if you had Imperial Decree on top of that.
Uh, I don't know if you have to target it 3 times because it's up to 3 units, but you can't pick several times the same unit, can you?
Oh, it's 3. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. But
It's
to
like
make matters
Singularity.
worse, the only Imperial Decree I believe he had just got Wind Wall. He was trying to be a little sneaky, trying to play Imperial Decree as an action on the defensive end. A lot of players don't play like that, but he's saying, if you're going to come at me, I'm going to make you pay the cost for it. But so far, Ornn looks to try to stabilize from this position. Going to be leaving at least 2 runes available for something like a Defy that we're seeing, choosing to pass. And that is a big, formidable force to try to take down on the current conservatory field. +4 because there's only 2 gear, bringing up that total Ornn up to 8. But Xin Zhao, a recruit and a pit pocket, doesn't feel all that great. Collectively, that's going to be bringing you up to 8 might as well. So you're going to have to trade every single one. But I'm seeing a lot of removal, as Viktor tends to do. In this situation, do you feel like it's worth it for the +4 deflect? Or is that something you're just not even considering?
No, I would totally consider it because at one point I will have to do it anyway. Maybe better while there's only 2 runes ready than when there is so much more. The problem is that hidden card, because if it's a Zonia, then I've done everything for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One way to see it is just I go on the other battlefield and I will hold, and you cannot hold 2 battlefields at the same time. So good luck.
Oh, it looks like he counted out. I believe it almost looks like he counted out enough runes there for an accelerator watcher. 2, 4, 6, 8 total runes. Gonna be recycling 1 or perhaps floating 1. Yeah, I think that's their indication of floating 1. So giving that dice as an indicator saying I got 1 extra rune. So just paying 1 power and sending in because of the sigil forcing you to recycle. So just wants to go ahead and guarantee a conquer while he can before he has to do the math on the other side. So going up to 6. And funny enough, he could almost play the hold game because you'll hold up to 7. And there's no way Ornn could easily kind of ready himself. No, I still think you go for it. I know chat said there might just be another Imperial Decree in hand. That could be the play here. It does have 2 power, so you can't defy it. Not so fast would be the only available option, which is doesn't target your own friendly unit, so you're not even able to counter it whatsoever. So looks like he's gonna be paying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total runes. I am smelling a watcher play, Leroy.
Yeah, and you were perfectly right. Now, is there enough on Ornn? I'm not sure.
I think the watcher alone should be more than enough. Of course, you have to be a slightly cognizant of the fact that there could be it is a calm deck. You could have a little bit of buffs. I don't know too much about how Ornn decks are built, but I would almost imagine most calm decks have things like on guard, discipline, things that kind of bring you back up, but maybe not so much. Maybe the might increases are just done from the gears. So if Viktor has a read on that, if he's used to the Ornn matchup, he's just going to be going in with the Watcher alone. Does he choose or does he want to try to add on top? I think he's doing the math. What can possibly be the breakpoints with just 2 runes available for Ornn, and decides that the 7 plus the 4 from Xin Zhao should be enough?
Oh, okay.
I think that was an
No,
Emperor's Call. You get a Sand Soldier token? Or is that
no, no,
the
no.
other
It's
one?
the one that you can retreat. It's the retreat. It's the
Oh,
flash
right,
out.
right, right. It's the green flash. I remember
The
talking
green
about it.
flash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Now,
pull it up for those that weren't in the earlier stream. What was it called though? Because I was thinking of Desert Call.
Let's try to find it.
I found it. It was Emperor's Divide. That's what it is. Thank you, chat. And I did end up finding it. So it was the hidden card, and it is that basically the green flash. Choose up to 2 or more than move any number of units at a battlefield to their base and at reaction speed, mind you. So that orange is gonna be sitting pretty. The Watcher does go up to 7, but at this position, you just need to hold a single battlefield. You're at 7. One whole point gets you to victory. Can Ornn accelerate anything? Because right now one of those battlefields is a single recruit. If the blue Ornn could get over the Watcher and the Xinjiao, how can he get over? I don't think Ornn could ready things, right? Does he play? I mean, we're about to find out, aren't we?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, the crown coming down, and I know you can only run one of these signature spells. Which one is this one? Are you familiar with it, Leroy?
It's traditional. Yeah, it's the one that readies, if I remember correctly.
Oh, you're right. There is one that says ready all your units. This one in particular saying when you play this, ready your units. So Ornn gonna be getting ready. And of course, I believe one of those he got ganking, or did I miss something while I was finding the card?
Yeah, he got ganking from the gear. So it readies hit. It gives him ganking, and yeah, it's called Shurelia's. I think it's Requiem in English. I'm not sure. I don't know,
No,
because when
yeah,
you play League,
Requiem. The first one we'll leave it
yeah,
up to someone in chat to say, but Requiem coming in insanely clutch. You can only run one of one in that deck. Ready up all your units, and when attached, you do give it ganking. So hopping over onto the other side, this is exactly what Ornn was hoping for. I think he was saving it for this exact moment right here. He should be swinging it for a whole lot. +2 might for every single unit. And he's saying if you're gonna hit him blade, I'm gonna make you pay the deflect cost, and then even.
he's targeting Zin. He's
Oh,
targeting
okay,
Zin.
okay. He's just trying to get the +2. All right, looks like there is 2 Imperial Decrees in hand, a Wages of Pain, but he only has a single rune. Gonna be choosing to retreat. Is that a card you're just gonna spend Defy on? I feel like as the Ornn player, your opponent wanted the retreat for a reason. I feel pretty comfortable defying this.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think the Defy is pretty smart here. And now it's like, now that they are on as ganking, it's like good luck. He cannot. I don't know how he can secure something. Maybe through Imperial's Decree.
Yeah, that's the only way, but try to think about the fact that he does have enough runes. We saw one wind wall get picked up from the Ravenbloom Conservatory. If he leaves 3 up, that's all he needs to do to counter something like an Imperial Decree. And right now, Viktor only has enough runes for 1. Gonna be hiding another card on the Conservatory just to probably keep things safe, like the Emperor's Divide as we saw before.
It was one. Was one, I think.
What was that?
It was an Emperor's Divide.
It was one. Okay. Yeah,
but there's two Emperor's Decree. So use one now, then use another one next turn, and then you finally kill him.
Yeah, let's see. This is tricky because there almost seems like a way for Ornn to completely stabilize here. And it honestly feels that Ornn has hit that turning point in game number 1 of this round number 5 to try to hold and stabilize and lean in his direction for the remaining of this game number one. There's solely a pit pocket. He's going to be floating one as he tries to conquer up to Sigil of the Storm. We saw this play before. Actually, no. I was mistaken. He's going to be going on and just getting one recruit token for that legend ability. Pit pocket, the only available unit. If he plays Imperial Decree, he most likely gets very close to tapping out, but gonna be exerting 2 runes plus 1 yellow for the call of the week. That will be Defy number 2, and he still has 3 runes available. Ornn Control is looking mighty impressive versus Viktor Control, and one of them, just that big unit in that blue Ornn. I think it was just the Requiem card, right? It came in at the perfect time. He was probably
Yeah.
holding it for a good time. The fact that not only you can ready it, but you also got ganking, like that's what's making the huge difference here, because you got rid of a Watcher and a Xing Zhao in a single turn and a Hidden Blade hidden. All that done in a single turn. Plus you got to you got up to 2 points, up to 4, closing down the margins. If you do that one more time, you still have ganking. You're going to hold up to 5. You hop on over up to 6. And now you're down to that final potential turn. If you're able to survive one more turn, which is looking likely, he has so much removal. And he's writing down the discard. That's pretty impressive as a player there. You're not only taking into account what your opponent may have in hand, but you're doing so by looking at the discard, which is a sign of a really strong player.
Yeah, I mean, they are playing quite decently right now. And they're both in, I don't know, I don't know if it's like 3 victories and 1 draw or defeat, or if the last time it was 1 draw or defeat. I don't know which one is draw and defeat. And if anyone in the chat knows,
What was the
which
question,
one is
Leroy?
in, yeah, their score, are they in 3 victory, 1 defeat, or 3 victory, 1 draw? What do you
Yeah,
think?
I almost want to say the middle is the tie, but actually we'll have to ask Jack after this because I could see it both ways. I can't remember what it is when I do the
Yeah,
tournaments. I think the
and now,
middle is the loss, I want to say, but we'll look
okay,
into it after. But the
we'll see
drop
after.
order coming in readied.
Tonio coming back. Yeah, and now he's at 6, and that we're starting to be in a very sketchy position for uh, Victor, because there are still 3 runes up,
Wait, he passed
and
it over. Shouldn't he have got the hold point for the Ornn? I thought it was still Victor's turn, but he ended up passing it and allowing him to play the wasn't he at 4? He held to 5. Actually, no, we're exactly right. He held to 5 and then pushed the
yeah,
drop
let's go to
border to
6.
conquer to 6. So this is a strong defensive position for Ornn, leaving enough runes available for that wind wall that we know he has, but he only has about 3 cards in hand and not so fast a wind wall, and I can't really make out the last one, but either way, enough to try to counter things like an Imperial Decree. And looking at Victor's remaining runes, you could only play out a single Imperial Decree. You can't just bait a wind wall out with one Imperial and play the other one, because that would be the move. But look at the hidden cards. I mean, granted, you just have to win this turn, but if he doesn't win, it is all but over. I think Ornn really did well stabilizing in that mid game, carrying him through this remaining of game 1. I'm impressed. I wasn't sure if Ornn was going to get it. I thought Viktor started off way too fast, but he's looking pretty good to do so.
Yep, but I'm curious to see what would happen if he did not have the Chevalier.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Chevalier made everything, and it's only a one-off, so maybe you won't have it every single game.
Yeah, the Requiem literally was the difference maker in this match. And someone in chat said Watcher looking to be insanely good right here, right now. Does come in with the additional value of getting accelerated. So -3 on the drop order and -3 on the orange. So sending in the recruit, trying to give a trade for trying to go 1-1. Does get consult the past, sees a little bit off the top. We couldn't get to see. I believe it's gonna be a spell and another wind wall, unless the shuffle was a little bit too fast. Does get the trade, and now you're sending everything into the left, so you're not looking to win this turn. All you're looking to do is take down his biggest, most valuable unit, being that blue Ornn.
Yeah. And again, the Watcher is really good at dealing with that, but he will be able to use
And I was gonna say, why didn't he
the
split
Emperor's
the
Divide.
difference and send the pickpocket? But he just didn't have enough might. Despite the Watcher
Yeah.
minusing 3, he just still didn't have enough might for the Watcher to do it all on his own. So forcing his hand and pushing into a double push onto that Conqueror. You do get to draw. But I think this Ornn is just looking too good. If you even have another equipment, something like a Guardian Angel. Actually, we saw the spell coming down, gets played out one more time, attaches it onto the Ornn. That's going to be +3 might. Leroy, if we could do the quick maths, how much might are we working with on this blue Ornn?
He's got 3 or 4 equipped. I don't know. I'm gonna say 3 equipped.
Yeah, 3 equipped.
And also 4 with the gear, which means there's 2 Svelzonger, so that's like +12.
Yeah, just without the equipment buffs, including
I'm
those
gonna say
equipment buffs,
16.
right?
Yeah. No, not including because the Shoria gives +2, so that's 18.
18, yeah, because the Spellsongers are 0, so 16 at the base and 2 from the Requiem. So man, that Ornn is going up and up in the might department. Not feeling good for Viktor. It looks like he has enough card economy in his hand, but he just doesn't have tools to benefit from those cards going forward. The Guardian Angel, to make matters worse, is feeling good, feeling like he can do what he needs to get done to protect the Ornn. On top of that, that's another +3 might. We said 18, make that 21 total might. I don't think there's a single card stopping this Ornn from holding the conservatory in this game number 1. I can't think of a single moment. What are you gonna do, guys? Is it gonna be Imperial into Bellows Breath? We're seeing the wind wall in the hand, and you still, I said it 2 turns in a row, you could only play enough for a single Imperial Decree. I think Ornn just squeezed it from a comeback win. What an impressive showing for Ornn.
Yep, played around most of the outs possible. Stayed steady, stayed calm, and knew you would have the late game anyway.
Yeah, excellent point. It's all about getting to that late game for Ornn, and that he did. The call of the week, trying to bait something out, but the Guardian Angel, ooh, this is dicey. But he's saying, you know what? Actually, this gives him a little bit of wiggle room. Now, Ornn isn't the one holding. He thought he can hold from 7 to 8, but forcing him to conquer both battlefields, is there a world that Viktor still maybe inches it out? And what is that card? Are you familiar with it?
I can't even see it.
Yeah, it looks like it's a new Spiritforged order. Let
Oh,
me
that's
see.
the Kempunk guy. Yeah. All right. What does he do in this game?
Is that Sand Shifter? No. I'm trying to find it here for us.
No, right. Is Zone Punk. You may kill a friendly gear as an additional cost to play me. When you play me, if you pay the additional cost, kill a gear.
Yeah, so a lot of gear hate coming out from Viktor with the pickpocket, with the salvage, and now with the Zon Punk. As Leroy said, when you kill a friendly unit, or you may kill a friendly gear as an additional cost to play me, and if you do so, you do get a gold. So nice little potential out to some of these gears as an additional cost, but it's a friendly one. Never mind. I thought it was gear hate. You actually just have to kill your own gear, aka in Victor's situation, your gold token. So Zompunk not doing too much here except trying to put something on the board, allowing him to kind of split the targets of these battlefield conquerors. But how in the world are you getting rid of this mountainous Ornn now that with a Dorian shield to make it even crazier to take down? I'm not seeing it, Leroy. Even if he tapped out, actually, if he tapped out, Imperial Decree would be free, but he didn't tap out. Double wind wall in hand. Plenty of cards to work with. You just a little light on runes. He just can't find the space to go double Imperial Decree. And at this situation, even if he had the double Imperial Decree, I think he has a double wind wall, I believe.
Yeah, there's nothing I believe that could create a comeback for the Victor player.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't
Yet
think.
to spend some runes every time, and he could not close it by launching some Bajian spell at the same time. So yeah,
Yeah,
it,
he
it's
was able
over.
to conquer the sigil many, many times, pseudo conquer, if you will, because he just keeps on drawing. He has to go for it. It's running out of time. Imperial Decree getting played out. He's saying, if you have it, let's go to game number 2. If you don't have it, I could perhaps take down the most formidable unit and Wind Wall will be deployed. So that should be everything. A Zompunk is just not going to be enough. That guy is massive. And Lyra, I'm wondering what is he possibly thinking about? There he
Yeah,
goes. There goes
yeah,
the fist
exactly.
bump. What can he
Like,
do for
does he have
two?
another call the week or something? But
True, it could have been a call of the week, but he still had another counter spell. But impressive showing for Ornn, taking our game number 1 of the 5th round today, in the 5th round of today's Swiss bracket. Forward into a game 2 for this next match, and let's see the battlefields. Okay, aspirant climb on the draw. I like to see that. And then I believe this one is the one that generates a gold for an energy. I have to find it. Isn't it treasure hoarder? Yeah, treasure hoard.
uh, yeah, I think it's something like that.
And here we go, guys. Like I said, game number 2 of this round number 5. Can Ornn just close things out in that 2-0 fashion? Or will Victor, now understanding what to expect, now anticipating to try to play around these wind walls, take it down? Because the battlefield Ravens Blue Conservatory kind of favored Ornn ever so slightly in the sense that he was able to get a couple more counters off the top, but does have a good opening, a seal from the Ornn ability, and a guardian angel on top of that. So not too bad. But Victor looking like a similar start from the previous game 1. Just going to be pushing on forward as early as he can. He understands if I'm able to get under this Ornn, I will have a shot. So let's try to develop the board the best I can and try to conquer the most I can each and every turn. And that's the game plan. Let's see if it ends up paying on forward as we continue on this match, because Ornn shouldn't be able to play out too many units. I say that, but the drop border with 2 gears available does enter ready. You know, drop border kind of is a unit that kills the tempo for Victor, doesn't it?
Yeah, not only this, but these two battlefields are so good for Horn. Like, we saw that Victor needed to close the game quickly, and with the Aspirant's Climb, it's hard. And the Treasure Hoard will give free gear to On that will all give them +1 and +1 for each Selzonger.
Mm-hmm. And wait, which card are you saying?
the all the the gold
Oh, yeah,
coins
yeah, yeah, the
token.
treasure hoard. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Every single gold you generate, it counts as a gear. If you guys didn't keep, in case you guys did not know, gold tokens are indeed gear. So that's going to be giving that +1 might on that Ornn champion when he does indeed come out a little bit down the road, but does keep the recruit token. So going to be holding up to 2 points, allowing him to push on to aspirant climb. And remember, you're gonna have to go all the way up to 9 points. So being at 3 is essentially double conquer 3 times from this position to get on in there. Viktor gonna be doing what he does, getting down another recruit token, about 4 runes available. Does he want to play something on top of that to keep on establishing the board, or does he want to leave something open? I like the way Ornn plays. He knows that Viktor has a lot of removal like Call of the Week early on, so doesn't want to play out too many things. And actually, the Hidden Blade was on the drop border, I'm saying now, so that's a double draw for Ornn. Should be pretty good.
Yeah. Um, the I don't know. Um, Victor this time, one thing that's good for Victor is that he managed to have more runes than the previous game, where really quickly he was already almost tapped out, and now it doesn't feel that way. So maybe he will be able to have more to deal with on in late game.
And no, this feels a little bit scary. You're going to go ahead and play out your Ornn champion, but you only have a single rune. What spells can punish him in the base? He does have +3, so he's going to be going up to 7 total might to try to take down. So singularity is out of the equation. You can't take it down because right now, all you can do with the current 1, 2, 2, 2, 4, 5. I guess in theory you could go for a Bellows Breath Imperial Decree, but I think Bellows Breath is actually in the 5 range, so it's a little bit risky. So maybe he did pick a good time to go ahead and play out this Ornn champion, because it feels rather safe despite the fact of not having like a Guardian Angel available and attached to him. I feel like he's going to be able to stick to the board, and if he sticks for 1 turn, it's almost guaranteed to stick for the remaining. But the call of the week, is there a Defy? Oh, there is a Guardian Angel. What am I talking about? We did see him play it out early on, so forget what I said just a second ago. Keeping him alive from 1 removal. Does Viktor have the second removal option to kick it off the current board?
Yeah, and now On is going to start pummeling the battlefields. But again, he is 5 points behind right now. Can he close it in time? That's the question.
Yeah, that's a big question. Big point difference. It looks tough, but we saw a decently big point difference in game number 1, and Ornn was still able to inch it out. I see a Tiana Crown Guard, the one that doesn't allow your opponent to score any more points. That could be a way to slow things down and allowing him to get more equipments online the following turns. And he goes for the Spellsonger, looking to attach it onto the Ornn. So attaching it using everything except recycling runes, thanks to the Ornn legend and the seal. So pushing on forward, gonna be conquering the treasure hoard to allow him to generate even another gear, just like you said. Getting more might and does pay the cost. So gonna be tapping 1 energy for the 1 gold. This treasure hoard definitely favoring Ornn, I feel like, at least for
Yeah,
now.
it looks like On has chosen both battlefields
Right.
and is playing his own game right now. I don't know how Victor is gonna try to deal with it this time, but I feel it won't be easy.
I don't think so, right? Because from this position, you would almost want, if you have an Imperial Decree, you're almost itching to play it. You have 3 recruit tokens to slam into that Ornn, but you have to consider the fact that there is 4 runes open for Ornn. Do you want to take the risk? He takes a simple route for now, going up to 6 points on Aspirant Climb, though he still has 3 more points to reach that victory point of 9, of course. So goes and taps 2. Let's see what he has in mind. Goes for the blood money on his own friendly unit. That will be earning him I thought it was 2. Yeah, 2 gold tokens, because if you target your own friendly unit, that is going to be getting you that. So now it looks like that is 6. Oh, it must have been 7 for the armory. So if we thought he had enough recruit tokens before, Leroy, look at what he's bringing to the next couple rounds. Armory, 3 recruit tokens every single turn. How have you seen a lot from this armory card?
No, not at all whatsoever. Honestly, I mean, I saw it in like deck that had been constructed, but I didn't see it myself playing against someone that was using it.
Yeah, usually we see it in the likes of Jace decks. If you're familiar with Jace, it's a 4-drop. When you destroy one of your own gears, you're able to play a 7 cost gear, or a 7 cost card, I believe, and that card pairs very well because Vanguard Armory is a 7 cost card. So it's a good little combo. Jace into Armory is what I've seen Victor's play out before. But man, what are you recruits tokens good for if you're not able to score even on an empty battlefield? Tiana Crown Guard coming down. I'll pull her up now since she is one of the newest additions to Spiritforged, and she reads no opponent when she's at a battlefield can score. When I'm at a battlefield, opponents may, or I think she got errata, but as it currently reads, opponents can't score points. So even on Aspirant Climb, you can try to conquer. You're just not going to get a point for it. Not a hold, not a conquer. Tiana Crown Guard looking insane when you pair it up with the likes of this Ornn. This is a true control deck. We haven't seen any kind of control deck in set 1 or this whole tournament long, just like this Ornn is doing. I am thoroughly impressed with this Ornn control.
Yeah. Um, Tiana is really just here to seal the deal and make it so that nothing can happen. Uh, I really don't know how Viktor is supposed to recover from that position. I mean, I know he still has a lot of tools. Oh, wait, the Imperial Degree managed to slip through?
Oh, Imperial Decree did manage to sneak through because there's only 1 defensive rune up, and
Oh,
that
oh
will
my bad.
be...
Okay, oh, it's over.
Yeah, you take down the Ornn. That is a big step because now you have plenty more recruits. You take down the Tiana. You know, Tiana Crown Guard felt so good to develop onto the board, but now in hindsight, I don't think it was worth it, right? The Imperial Decree finding the most opportune moment to
And he's
get
got a
it
wind wall
done.
in hand.
Yeah, he had the wind wall. I don't think
Oh
it was
no.
worth it, but maybe he had no other option.
Yeah, I get the idea of like I want Matiana to be ready instantly, but it's not paying off.
Yeah, and they find themselves at 8 point. But the one thing about control decks is that they tend to be a little bit slow. About 10 minutes remaining in this 5th round of the Swiss bracket. I don't think that's enough time at the pace that these, not at the pace, but just at the gameplay loops that these guys are doing. I don't think they're going to be able to finish out a 3rd game in this final 10 minutes. I don't think, certainly after losing the Ornn champ and Tiana Crown Guard, there's going to be nothing you can do. Conceding is what the Ornn is forced to do. Final 10 minutes remaining as the guys go to the final game 3. Viktor versus Ornn. Ornn did some really fantastic stuff in game number 1. Viktor following from the backs of that Imperial Decree does get the win. I think it's almost like if you take down the blue Ornn, you win the game, right?
Yeah, it's everything. One side has to protect it, and One side has to kill it. It's literally a protect the king game. Front guard, but still, I'm not sure it was the right play. It was too exposed after that.
Mm-hmm. And I actually think chat mentioned there could have been a potential 2 Imperial Decrees anyways, so I don't know if it would have made an exact difference. Either or, I agree with you. I do think that was a little bit of an overextension. If he kept up the win wall, you were more likely to win. And I think the Ornn by himself could have been enough might, because all you had to face was a lot of recruit tokens, which I mean, he could have had maybe the other great card, Grand Strategian, but I'm not seeing a lot of Victors these days running things like Grand Strategian. But here we are, everybody. Game number 3 of this 5th round. Can Viktor close things out, knowing what to kind of expect going forward from this Ornn control deck? Or on the other side, now is Ornn's turn to go on the play. He's going to be starting things off. Does he have something to play? I at least saw Azonia's blade, but instead going for the little bit of a better target in that equipment, giving the potential +1 later. Actually, you get a +1 for the Zonia's Hourglass anyways, but Guardian Angel will be that turn 1. And Viktor doing what he did in game 1 and in game 2. Those are usually his only units going forward in this match, are going to be the recruit tokens, of course.
Yeah, and I don't think I've seen this much the battlefield. Um, the paper tree is it's one of the first time I see it.
Okay.
Are you used to the battlefield? Like, do you
Yeah,
see it
I've
often?
seen it. I've seen it only because I believe some Aurelia decks tend to play it. It's very similar to Star Tip Peak, but instead of you just getting the runes, it's
Yeah,
all the
both player
opponents,
get it.
right?
Yeah,
So I'll pull it up on the screen. Let me just add the battlefields on the screen.
I know what it does. It's just I've almost never seen it, and I think it's a really cool battlefield.
Yeah, I think it's really good. It helps ramp, but it's actually interesting. I think Ornn is playing that, no? Or is that Viktor playing it?
Well, I don't see why Victor would play the second temple. So I guess Victor is playing the paper tree.
Yeah, it does make sense. It's just a little bit peculiar, but Paper Tree on Victor, the Sunken Temple to benefit from that Ornn champion. And speaking of Ornn champion, he does go ahead and establish it rather early compared to the other 2 games. And now Victor going to be recalling back, going up to 3 points versus 0. And keep in mind, that is about 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. So the fact that they're not even anywhere close to that pivotal 8th point, it looks like we are most likely going to go to turns. But if Viktor has it his way, he's just going to be able to score turn after turn. But if this Viktor can create the big blockage that he's done before, but Guardian Angel will be removed. There is a Zonia's though, so you're not feeling too bad about that. But you are going to be decreasing on the might by just 2, by 1 actually.
Yeah. Um, On will need to pick up the pace, and right now it's easy to conquer with because the tokens have no might whatsoever. So I hope he's got a Shurelia or something like that quickly, because else it will be too hard.
Yeah, and let's see. I need the Ornn player desperately needs to put points on the board, knowing that this game most likely will be going into overtime. You need to find yourself in not too much of a big point disparity. So the blood token gonna get played at reaction or action speed just to get 2 gold tokens on the next turn ready. So he's saying, wait a second, I'm attacking this battlefield. Can he really play an action on the other battlefield? Yep, there's actually no rules against that, so that is a fair play. It's still Ornn's turn, of course, and looks like he ends up picking a Defy. And now trying to see if he wants to leave the remaining of those runes open. So going to be having 5 runes at the ready for Viktor's turn. 2 recruit tokens. And man, in this moment, you almost want to just snap play something like an Imperial Decree. But we know what is lurking in the hands of Ornn. He's done it before. He did it a whole bunch in game number 1. Something like a wind wall could completely stop that plan in his tracks. And actually, though, have you seen a wind wall in his hand, Leroy? I don't think I've seen it just yet.
Um, no, I haven't seen any. Uh, I don't know what's the card. It does. There are some not so fast. I saw Defy, so he's got tools to answer.
Oh, I'm seeing them.
Definitely.
Actually, I think I saw two. I think there is
Uh,
two wind walls in the
oh yeah,
hand.
yeah. Two win walls. One not so fast. One Defy. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck indeed. He's not going to be able to get any kind of removal options. He does have a Shen, a Zen Zhao, and a Pickpocket, so a little bit more units than we're used to a lot of traditional prison decks. But two Call of the Weeks, he really, really wishes he was able to get those off, because in that moment, it would almost benefit him so greatly, allowing him to take down that blue orange champion. But does decide to play towards that paper tree. Though it's not much might, I guess 2 might is better than 1, but either or, if this Ornn comes through with something like a ganking, if he ends up drawing it, it's not gonna be staying around too much longer. But let's see, those are one ofs. That's what makes. Oh, I think I see the Requiem. There it goes, Leroy. One more
Oh,
time.
there
It
it
won him
goes.
the game in game 1. It looks to be the difference maker in game 3, perhaps.
I think it will.
Yeah, coming down, not only readying your units, even if he didn't need it because it was already readied. More importantly, it allows them to get the keyword ganking, hopping over. You know, it does so much. You get +2 might because of your champion ability. You get the +2 from attaching it, and you get the ganking. As we mentioned, this is such a powerful card, allowing him to, I think, stabilize just as he did in game number 1, and leaving a whole lot of runes open for you guys know exactly what's in his hand. In this moment, he could double wind wall and have enough runes for all that. It comes at a pretty big cost because of the double com requirement, but I think sometimes you just have to do what you have to do, because in 20 seconds that's going to be time in the round. So Imperial Decree trying to get resolved, and that is a
And of
big fat
course,
no.
and no matter what he does, he could have 2 colors of the week, and I'm sure it would be enough.
Yeah, you're right. Even 2 calls a week wouldn't be enough in this situation because of that Zonyo's Hourglass. So goes for one more additional recruit tokens, but it just doesn't
And the
feel
GA.
good. It's almost like polar opposites. Victor's is playing out little tiny units, while Ornn is working with a ginormous unit in that blue champion. It's not too huge yet, but the capabilities of it can get carried away, and it just feels so powerful if you're not able to deal with it before it gets carried away. Of course, there's only 3 runes remaining. If he goes for the call of the week, I am smelling a Defy. He has it at the top of his hand, and that will get played out. Another one, Leroy. How much counters does this Ornn player have?
Uh, a bajillion, I'd say, about that.
Yeah, about
About
572 or
yeah,
something.
yeah. But I'm not sure, like maybe 1 or 2 more, but around a bajillion, yeah.
I think so. And he ended up picking up the green Azir, like we saw earlier in the match with the Fiora Azir matchup in round number 2. Does come in decently clutch because you're able to keep your blue champion safe, the Ornn, but hops over to the other battlefield, going up to 5, taking down the little recruit token, equalizing the score. Feeling good as he is on turn 2 currently. I believe he was turn 0. Unless I'm mistaken, that Victor's turn 0.
That uh, I on yeah, Victor must be 10-0 because we're at 1 out of 3 right now.
Oh, I see the dice right there. So Ornn will have at least one more additional turn following this. Same with the Victor player. So turn 0, turn 1 is for Ornn. Passes it forward. And I think one more turn is all he needs to create a 2-point margin between Victor and himself. That's exactly what he needs to keep that 4-1 streak alive. But can Victor... Uh-oh. That's a conquer 6. You hold a 7. Okay, there's still the 2 points you're working with, but you have one more turn as the Victor player. If he gets one conquer over you, you're only going to be winning by 1. After all this huge effort, are you still gonna end up in a draw? I'm trying to think a couple turns ahead. I think it might be a draw, Leroy, because you gank over to the other one, leaving the other battlefield exposed.
Yeah, I'd say it ends up in a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, Ornn cannot go to 8, so GG.
Yeah, that's GG. The only way he gets out of this is if he's able to play out a big tall unit onto the sunken temple, but it doesn't look like there's any units in that hand. He's like,
No,
darn,
but it's like anyway you can't because it's the last turn. It will go up to 7, and that's it.
yeah, I was
The
gonna say if he had a unit to play before ganking over, he could leave the unit behind. But there's just so much might available to him after playing out the pickpocket Zinzhao and the Viktor on the previous turn. He would have had enough for any single unit. Even that green Azir would have been enough to take down. And I think they're smiling. They're saying, you know what? After a huge, exciting match, I guess we're going to end up in a draw. Fair play to you. I don't think they're out of the contention of top 64 cut just yet, but it doesn't feel too good a
oh,
draw. I feel like Ornn definitely would have won that match with a couple more minutes on the clock.